In the heart of a palace built for perfection, a child was born. His destiny was already written, to become a king. But sometimes, destiny isn't a blessing, it's a cage. A prince locked in a box. 8 days. No escape. He was born to rule, but he died inside a rice chest. His name was Crown Prince Sado, Korea's most hated prince. But what if he wasn't hated, just broken? What if the madness was a cry for help? And what if the man who killed him was his own father? In 1735, a child was born in the royal palace of Joseon. His name was Isun. Later, he became Crown Prince Sado. He was the second son of King Youngjo, the only one to survive infancy. That made him the heir, the future king of Korea. From the outside, the palace looked perfect. Inside, it was silent, cold, a battlefield of expectations. Youngjo was brilliant, disciplined, obsessed with perfection. Sado was expected to be his mirror. But Sado wasn't like his father. He was sensitive, emotional. He saw the world through feeling, not rules. And in a palace where weakness was forbidden, that made him dangerous. The boy who once painted flowers began to fear the walls around him. Behind the silk robes, something was unraveling. As Sado grew older, the palace grew colder. Servants whispered. They said he was unstable, violent, that he talked to ghosts. His wife, Lady Higyoung, wrote, he feared clothing, mirrors, even the wind. Modern doctors call it bipolar disorder, a condition of fire and silence. Sometimes his energy soared. He talked fast, moved fast. Ideas poured out like fire. Then came the crash. Silence, isolation, self-loathing. He wrote letters, described fevers, despair, sleepless nights. He begged for medicine, not power. But in 18th century Korea, there was no word for mental illness. To King Youngjo, discipline could cure anything, so Sado's pain looked like defiance. And in every story of madness, someone benefits from it. Youngjo loved his son, but it was love with conditions. Be perfect, be obedient, be the son I imagine. Every failure felt like betrayal, and every day, the gap between them grew, until only fear remained. Then came the breaking point. Sado took up a sword. He said he wanted to see his father. He never used it. He stopped himself. But for Youngjo, that was enough. He saw a threat, not just to himself, but to the dynasty. He couldn't execute his son. Confucian law forbade it. So he chose something worse, something that kept his hands clean. A wooden rice chest was brought to the courtyard. Sado was ordered inside. It was midsummer. The heat was unbearable. He wasn't killed with poison or a blade. He was sealed away, to die slowly, alone, unheard. He tried to escape, kicked the chest, broke the lid. Youngjo nailed it shut, blocked the holes, covered it with straw. Even the rainwater was denied. 8 days, no food, no water, no light. On the 9th day, he was dead. 8 days of silence, 8 days for a father to outlive his son. And somewhere in that silence, Youngjo lost more than a son. He lost the man he was trying to save. After Sado's death, Youngjo gave him a name, Sado. It means, thinking of him brings sorrow. It was the king's final confession, a way of saying, I had no choice. But maybe, deep down, he knew he did. Years later, Sado's son became king. Jongjo, wise, compassionate, beloved, but he carried a secret. He was the son of a man condemned to die in a box. Jongjo tried to restore his father's honor. He built shrines. He spoke of Sado's talents. Historians remain divided. Was Sado a monster or a misunderstood soul crushed by palace politics? Lady Haegyang's memoirs offer both love and horror. The rice chest remains, a symbol of shame, silence, and sorrow. Young Jo's parenting is now seen as a warning, a failure of early education, a lesson about pressure and perfection. Sado's story isn't just about madness or monarchy. It's about what happens when love becomes conditional, when discipline replaces compassion, when a father sees a reflection instead of a child. Maybe the real prison wasn't the chest, it was the crown. History locked him away, but every generation reopens the chest, searching for truth. If Sado had lived today, he might have been treated, understood, even healed. But in his time, his illness was seen as sin, and sin in a palace cannot live long. They called it duty. They called it order. But in the end, it was just tragedy. Because no crown is worth a son's life, and no legacy should be built on silence. If this story moved you, please like and share. It helps this channel keep telling the stories that deserve to be heard, stories that should never be forgotten.